Recent protests over police reform across the country have shed light on who some of the demonstrators are, including children.
An associate professor of sociology from Northern Illinois University says it should come as no surprise that kids younger than 18 have been part of social justice movements for centuries. Dr. Diane Rogers is one of very few researchers in the world to study the participation of children in protests, and she joins us now live. Thank you so much for being here. I want to talk about, I've actually seen very little children at some of these rallies and protests, and they are the next generation. They're the people that are really going to affect some change. But at what age do we begin telling them about that and trying to discuss some of these complex issues?
Thank you for having me on, first and foremost. And that's one of the questions that is often asked is how young can children understand things? But you have to think of it this way, and that is that even adults have a varied amount of understanding of issues. And we know that preschool children can even learn things, and they can learn about social justice issues in their world. Many children, of course, experience injustice in their own life. And so what happens is that these injustices are something that they want to protest because they're experiencing it themselves. So I don't think we have to look at it as something extraordinarily difficult to talk about with them, because they do see it. They're a part of the world, and they do see injustice and may experience it.
So can the argument be made that even if they don't understand fully the complexity of the issue, just the very nature of the exercise itself is healthy in some regards?
Yes, they actually have a right to freely express themselves according to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child in matters that concern them. So if we think about it that way, a lot of matters concern them. You know, certainly issues like climate change, gun control, as we've seen with the Parkland students, and then Greta Thunberg, and then Kai Aiden, the 7-year-old Black Lives Matter protester. Many issues, of course, that affect adults will affect children, and we could argue maybe even more because it's their future that's at stake.
And I feel like when we hear from the children making their passionate pleas, it has even more of an impact. Is that correct?
We often think about children, again, as our future. So that has some symbolic, value. And we also think of them as innocent. And the other issue with that is we think of them as in need of protection. But one of the things that I bring up in my book is that they actually are not just symbols. They are at protest. Sometimes you might not see them if the media is not covering the many peaceful protests that children actually attend. And then also, they are not protected. They are certainly subjected to war, violence, climate change, racism, sexism, and all the many social problems that adults are. So we have to get beyond the idea of them just as a symbol. They're concerned, they're aware, and they want to be there expressing their rights.
And they are the voice of the future. Dr. Diane Rogers, thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you for having me.